Okay, I'm trying this again. Okay, it says Claire Elizabeth Elliott is live now. Let's try this again. I guess that's what I titled it. Now, if I shrink this down and I look at my profile, I just see the last post that I had. Maybe I have to wait. Okay, I'll wait and see if the live feed will show up. Maybe I just have to wait. This is my dog Dixie. See, I don't know if you can see her. Can you see her? That's Dixie. That's Dixie. I still don't see myself. Let me refresh the page. Oh, here we go. Wait, is this it? Okay. There we go. But it's delayed. Okay. So I just have to, okay, so there, I can see the comments below. But you guys aren't leaving any, do you have any questions? Ask some questions. Please. How are you tonight? What's going on? What's new? That's not what I'm doing this for. I'm not doing this to show my body. I'm just doing this to talk with you all and be a real person for a change. You know, we're always just writing things, and it's just more entertaining and fun for you to see me. I guess I can't really see you. Hi Susan. Hi Sandra. Hi Felicia. Oh, Felicia, you've got some stuff to ask me. I know you do. Ask away. Oh. I don't know how to pronounce your name, but come on, stop it. Hi, Jennifer. I don't know how to pronounce your name. I don't know Arabic, so. Oh, Felicia, I know you have to ask that up front because you have an agenda and you're very organized and you want to get to it. Well, I don't know. I just figured we'd just see how it went and, you know, see what's natural. I mean, I don't know. Let's just see how it goes. I could give you a whole hour, perhaps, but let's see how it goes. We might not need an hour. I know, Twyla. I don't know. I'm not going to block him, but, you know, I'm not going to, you know, do a boob show or something like that. That's not why I'm here. Okay. Oh, you think I'm funny? I think you're funny, Felicia. Yeah, where do we start? That's right. Where do we start, Felicia? I think you should lead the questions. I know you've got them all ready. I guess I should look in the camera, right? Am I looking down? No, not too bad. Should I get closer now? Okay, explain your relationship with Prince and the case. Okay. Well, I think most people know where I'm at with the case, but I guess there are some who don't, and we need to review. Well, right now we're in a waiting phase, and nobody really knows what's going to happen next. But I do. I know what's going to happen, but nobody believes me. So I just have to wait like everybody else because it's sometimes really hard for me to wait like everybody else because it's just really difficult that everybody, like the whole world, thinks that I'm some silly person, that needs to, mind her own business or something. It's really hard dealing with that, and so it's more difficult for me to wait than it is for like Taika or someone like that. I know Taika's pretty darn sure that it's going to go the way she thinks, but it's going to go a very different way, and I kind of feel for everybody involved because it's going to be a real shock. But anyway, okay, you want to know where we're at. So we're waiting for the judge to name some heirs. Well, it's really one heir, and that one heir is me, because I married Prince in 1990. Was it? No, it wasn't 90. It wasn't the 90s. It was 2002, January 14th. Actually, I guess we just had our anniversary. Oh my goodness, 2002. And it was secret. He's a celebrity, so celebrities do things in secret a lot. It's not. When you're a celebrity, you can't like broadcast to the world what you're doing every second because the paparazzi would go crazy and the fans would go crazy, and you do things in secret. Prince was trying to help me because I had a lot of money that I was born into and have never accessed, and the CIA has stolen it, and it doesn't belong to the CIA. It belongs to me, and because the CIA stole it, I've been forced to live in poverty for my entire adult life. And I certainly understand poverty in a way very few people do. I'm now 51 years old, so you can do the math and figure out how many years I've been living in poverty. And I just think it's time that I retire from the vocation, the profession, the career of poverty, and be who I truly am. I am not a poor girl, and I want to be who I truly am. Okay, so let's see. What else do you want to know? Oh, you're laughing, smiling, Felicia. Who are you talking about, those guys, Twyla? Who can actually hack my shit? What are you talking about? Why is the media mostly reporting about his siblings and not so much you? That's a really good question, Felicia. I kind of think that it has to do with the CIA. A lot of us don't realize how much the CIA controls the media. And, we talk about the government controlling the media. Well, let's be more specific. It's the CIA who controls our information. CIA is short for Central Intelligence Agency, which means they control the intelligence that is distributed in our society. And that means they control the media. And they do not want media outlets to report what is actually the truth. That's why reporters don't report it. Now, there are probably some reporters who read the case, that go through all the filings and documents in the case, and they don't see the judge being very obvious about me, and they just think I'm full of what, and they just ignore me. But if you are a lawyer or someone experienced in legal matters, you know that the judge does not have to accept any of my filings. He has rejected one filing of mine before, and he did that to show me he can reject my filings. He did that. And he has accepted all the rest of my filings, but there have a few that he has not made public. He has not posted them. There have been a few like that. Most of them he has made public, and he doesn't have to do that. You know, he's the judge. He can just say, sorry, you are disqualified, you are an excluded heir. He could do that at any time. I mean, everybody's talking about how I'm an excluded heir. It's Claire Boyd who is an excluded heir, not Claire Elisabeth Elliott, a.k.a. Claire Elizabeth Nelson. I know people just think they don't understand this, but you know what we're talking about is CIA law, and CIA law trumps all American law. And you know, all lawyers know this. Okay, all lawyers work for both the CIA and the American court system, the U.S. court system, whatever you want to call it. They're different, and you know, the CIA corrupts. You know, it's a much more complicated law, which is really interesting, and but they misuse it, and they use it to commit fraud and commit crimes again and again. And it's time that stop, and I'm part of that movement to put an end to what the CIA is doing. Okay, all right. Okay, I thought the judge named his sister and half-siblings as the heirs already. What more does he need to decide? That's Susan Boharnois. I hope I pronounced your name right. I've known you, it seems like, for a very long time, and I've never had to pronounce your name before right this second. No, nobody has been named the heir or heirs. We are still waiting for the judge to do that. I'm sure Tyka and her siblings expected to be named the heirs on that Thursday a little while ago. I know they certainly expected a new special administrator to be named, but the judge didn't either. If you'll notice, if you go through all the filings, you'll notice that I put in my good word for Bremer Trust, you know, indicating that I felt like they were looking after my interests. And as a result, the judge did not name a new successive special administrator. Everybody expected that he would do at least that on Thursday, but he did not. And I know there was some disagreement amongst the family members over who was going to be the co-representative and all this stuff. But, you know, that was just, you know, that kind of disagreement was probably a good excuse for the judge to say, well, not right now am I naming a new successive special administrator. So Bremer Trust has remained the special administrator. The judge has extended Bremer Trust's appointment until the end of January 31st, I believe. And we'll see what happens in the meantime. I mean, I don't know if he's going to extend it another time. I don't know. We'll see what develops. Okay. Okay. I can't see all these comments. They're kind of scrolling away from me. No, Felicia, they were not dating. She told me that before. That's Twyla. Felicia, how does the judge know a CIA case versus a regular civil or criminal case? Well, I don't know these things. You know, all lawyers, all judges are all, you know, in with the CIA. They're all, you know, you know, the CIA has, they're a bunch of lawyers, really. I mean, yes, there are all kinds of professions in the CIA, but, you know, the CIA could not function if it didn't have all the lawyers and judges in the United States. You know, they all, you know, anybody who has become a judge, you know, who has made any kind of name for himself or herself, you know, the men have dominance in the CIA, but of course that is changing. But yeah, I mean, they're all part of the CIA. You know, I don't know how they know the difference. I really don't. I'm not in the CIA in that way. I mean, I'm not a lawyer who gets paid, you know, gets paid off to you know, do something, you know, for, you know, as a favor to someone. You know, I'm not saying that all the judges in the Prince case are being paid off. I'm not saying that. I I'm just saying that happens and all the time, and judges get paid off too. But I happen to think that this judge, this particular judge, Judge Heidi is how you pronounce his name. I was told that from the very get-go by somebody whose name is Heidi, and she taught me how to say his name. I think he's a good judge, and he's going to do the right thing. And he has indicated to me in very many indirect ways that he supports my existence as the sole heir of this estate. And he can't say anything. He can't make it public. He can't even tell me, outright, like a normal person, he has to be very indirect and covert about it. And I really appreciate, that he's taken the time to let me know in very little ways, so I don't get so discouraged, that he knows that I'm the sole heir and that it's going to be made public in the near future. Are you a lawyer, dear? Martin Sunday asks. No, I am not. Boy, but they're treating me like I am one, right? I mean, well, not really, because I don't even get notified. I mean, I don't, I'm representing myself, so, I don't get communication that the real lawyers do, and I find out about everything when it's posted publicly like everybody else. I don't, the lawyers all get advance notification of everything. I don't, they see everything that's confidential and sealed, and, I don't get access to that at all, and it's clear that the CIA doesn't think I have any legal rights or even human rights, and that's why I'm in this position. I really should be represented by a lawyer. But my people know that I have telepathic abilities, and people can communicate with me in ways that are legally sound, and I'll figure out what to do and what step to take next. And I'm pretty smart too, so I've managed to figure things out as I've gone, and I will continue to do that as well. So, all right. Oh, it's the fan thing. Sorry, Twyla. I'm joking, Claire. I didn't see all your comments. They scroll away, and I can't see them. I'm sorry. Is Ed Kramer watching? Yeah, I like Ed. He is here. He was here earlier. I don't know where he is. I don't know why he's not commenting. How is it you're not insane after all you've been through, Felicia asks. I think that's why they're putting me on display for all to see, because yes, I have been through the impossible, and I really should be dead. And here I am alive, so if I'm alive, then I should be like an invalid, or I should be unconscious or insane. And I mean, people who go through what I do commit suicide. They OD on drugs. They kill people. They are just putting me on display so everyone can see how amazing I am. I am amazing, don't you think? I mean, isn't it amazing that I'm able to talk to you and be open with you and write the way that I do, function the way I do, have a relationship and relationships the way that I do? It's quite remarkable, and when people have been raped like I have over a long period of time, they can't have relationships with men or women or anyone. I'm happily married. I love my husband very much, and he loves me very much, and it has a lot to do with Daddy. Daddy is the guy who was the person I credit with raising me when I was a young baby, and he gave me, he knew I was going to have a really, really difficult time. He knew what I was going to go through, and he couldn't stop it, and he knew that I was the only one who was going to survive it and be able to do what I'm about to do. So he gave me all the tools he could, come up with, and he helped me learn how to deal with everything. He was removed from my life when I was almost 6, and somehow I've been able to remember and process all that he told me in that short period of time at the beginning of my life, and have been able to utilize everything that he showed me and taught me. And it's really a tribute to him. And his true identity is Josei Toda. He was the first, well, no, I can't say the first. He was the second president of the Soka Gakkai in Japan. And everybody thinks that he died in 1958, but he didn't die. And it was his plan to raise me in the United States after he died. I was born in 1965. And, it was his plan. I'm his reincarnation. I know that sounds really weird and bizarre. People probably don't think that it's possible for someone who's your reincarnation to coexist with you. How can you coexist with your reincarnation? But, a lot of things are possible that people don't understand. And I'm here to show you and prove to the world what is possible when you believe. All right, let's see. What other questions do I have? Sandra Small says, I remember some tough times you had a few years ago, and you are in a much better place now. I'm so happy you've come so far. Thank you, Sandra. I'm trying to think. Okay, a few years ago. Yeah, I was, back in 2009, after I went public with the Michael Jackson case, I was thrown into jail. They really wanted to shut me down after I had that press conference on August 10th, 2009 in LA. Oh, did they? I mean, they sicked TMZ on me, and so many people said so many terrible things about me, people from my past. It was horrible. And they tried to shut me down, and they did for a while. And, to get out of jail, I had to, first of all, I didn't have any money, and if I had had money, they wouldn't have been able to keep me in jail. I was in Monroe, Georgia when it happened, and I guess in Monroe, Georgia, they throw people in jail for, right on the spot for, I wasn't, what I was arrested for was false statements in writing, and there was another charge, but it changed to computer forgery. And these are both, what do you call those things? Felonies, that's right. And so, but I could have bonded out or something. I just didn't have anyone in my life who was supporting me at that time. I didn't have anyone to call. I mean, I did have somebody to call, but they weren't really there for me. So I lost all my belongings, and I was on my own. And as a result, they gave me a mental evaluation, and because what I said was not something that people typically would believe, I was labeled delusional, and that's a label I've had for a long time over the years, and so I'm used to it. And I was evaluated once, and it was an automatic fail because of the delusional thing, and then I was sent to the hospital here in Augusta, Georgia, and it was the state hospital. It was what's the name of it? East Central Regional Hospital here in Augusta. And after they forced me to take medication, they gave me another mental evaluation, and I was still delusional. Didn't change me, because I'm not actually delusional. that's the thing about giving somebody like me medication. It doesn't change anything. It doesn't change my thoughts. It doesn't change what I know to be true, because it's true according to my experience. I know I can't prove that to you right now, but medication doesn't do anything. It just makes me fat, as you can see. It really helped jumpstart this weight gain that I've had on myself for a while here. And it kind of dampens your emotions. For a while there, I couldn't even cry, I think. What else did it do to me? What else did it do to me? It made me sleep a lot, and it made me like, it just kind of deadened me. It kind of took away my spunk and personality maybe a little bit. And in the hospital, they want to see if you can follow rules, and I know how to follow rules, no problem. But to get out, you have to, you have to follow the rules, and I know how to do that. So I got out really fast. I had to plead not guilty by reason of insanity, and that's how I got out. And I finally got an evaluator who let me pass my mental evaluation, even though I was delusional. I'm not delusional, but that's the way they think in hospitals and society in general. And I went and started living in a personal care home under a conditional release from the hospital, and I was on, they loved me in the hospital. They just thought I was great, and they worked really hard to get me fully released, but the judge was very stubborn for a couple of years there, and he wouldn't release me until October of 2014, and that was when right after I had gotten married. So it was like he was waiting for me to get married, and that's when he fully released me. And it's been since October 2014 that I've been on any medication of any kind, and I feel a lot better. When I went back then, I was, the medication made me suicidal. I wanted to die. When I married Dean, it was either I die or I marry Dean. That was how I saw it at that time. And, it was really good for me to go off medication, because I was so depressed. It was just such a dark time in my life taking that medicine. It was really powerful medicine that they put me on too. And it was just so refreshing to get off of it and just be myself again. And, I've never had a hard time functioning. It's just, it's been difficult to deal with what is being done to me. That's been very difficult. That would be difficult for anyone. I mean, if you can imagine that what I'm saying is true, it's a very difficult situation to go through what I've been through all by myself. And so you can imagine what a wonderful thing it was when I met Dean, and he became my best friend. And, I didn't plan on marrying him. It just happened. And, I really thought I was engaged to someone else, but it just... It happened, and I'm really glad it did. Okay, so yeah, that's a little of what I've been through in recent years, and let's see what you have to say here. You missed that candy. Jennifer says, are you not scared to have the same thing happen with filing in the Prince case? All right, as for filing in the Prince case, I'm not breaking any law by filing paperwork that I believe in and swear, I've had to, create affidavits swearing that what I'm saying is true according to what I believe and know to be true. And so, I mean, as long as I stand by what I say, I'm not committing any crime by filing papers in the Prince case. You know, everyone has a right to come forward and file paperwork claiming, you know, their side of the story in a case like this. Now, the Prince has the Prince. That's funny. Why did I say that? The judge has the right to, you know, like he did, he suggested that people argue whether I was a frivolous litigant at one time when I was using the name Claire Boyd, okay? Please, these names mean something in CIA law, okay? In American law, I don't think people, you know, lawyers are quite as precise, but when you're dealing with CIA law, names mean a lot, and I added Claire Boyd to the end. Well, I started with it at the beginning, you know, Claire Boyd, a.k.a. Claire Elisabeth Elliott, a.k.a. Claire Elisabeth Nelson. They told me that wasn't any good, you know, in their own little indirect fashion, you know. The judge and the special administrator, you know, they made it really clear that wasn't going to work. And so then I tried Claire Elisabeth Elliott, a.k.a. Claire Elisabeth Nelson, a.k.a. Claire Boyd. And everybody made it really clear that wasn't going to work either. And so I figured out, okay, Claire Elisabeth Elliott, a.k.a. Claire Elisabeth Nelson. Oh, wait, before I did that, I did Claire Elisabeth Nelson, a.k.a. Claire Elisabeth Elliott. That wasn't good either. So I finally figured out Claire Elisabeth Elliott, a.k.a. Claire Elisabeth Nelson. Okay, that's how it happened. I know, I mean, you'd have to go, you know, you'd have to be in the case. You'd have to be a lawyer and go through all my documents and see the evolution of Claire Elisabeth Elliott in the Prince case. But anyway, the person who was labeled or ordered a frivolous litigant was Claire Boyd. Claire Boyd. You know, I mean, and all the variations. It was, you know, Claire Elisabeth. I don't know. I can't. I'd have to have the documents in front of me to list all the different variations. But basically, he said Claire Elisabeth Elliott, a.k.a. Claire Elisabeth Nelson, a.k.a. Claire Boyd. Or no, I think he listed Claire Boyd first. You know, you're a frivolous litigant. You can't file any more in this case, and if you do, I'll fine you in contempt of court. That's basically what he said. And Claire Boyd, a.k.a. Claire Elisabeth Elliott, a.k.a. Claire Elisabeth Nelson, and by the way, he spelled Claire Elisabeth Elliott and Claire Elisabeth Nelson incorrectly. Just want to add that. Claire Boyd has never filed another document again. And so Claire Boyd has not been found in contempt of court. Now, Claire Elisabeth Elliott has continued to file paperwork as necessary, as required, and the judge continues to accept her documents and post her documents. And he doesn't have to do that. So, you know, you tell me why. I mean, I'm not breaking any law. I am not a frivolous litigant. Otherwise, the judge would have found me in contempt of court a long time ago and would have prevented me, would have rejected each and every one of the things that I filed. He would have. He is making it clear that Claire Elisabeth Elliott, a.k.a. Claire Elisabeth Nelson, has a standing in the Prince case. Okay? It's as simple as that. Twyla, I mean that I want to believe her, I do, but it's so far from, oh, your comment is gone. Can't read it. That's what has us worried. My friend, I have to go to bed. I have a long work day ahead of me. Good luck tonight. You're doing fine. Proud of you, girly. Thank you, Sandra. You are my friend, too. Okay, same here, Twyla. Okay, Felicia, you have to go. Okay, so I'm on the fence. Twyla, okay. The CIA deals with international spy stuff. The CIA does not deal with civilians. That's what they want everyone to believe. They want you to believe that it's only spies over in Iran or somewhere or in Russia. No, it's here at home. They study all of us. The whole NSA thing, monitoring all our communications like they are right at this very moment. The CIA is very intimately involved in that because their responsibility is to gather intelligence. And people who are your friend, your coworker, your employer, people you see down the street, all of them are working. I mean, not all of them necessarily. I'm just saying anyone can be in the CIA and be a spy. Spies are not good spies if they are wearing trench coats and sunglasses and hats and a spy is not going to look like a spy or seem like a spy. They're just going to be an average person. Everybody who has succeeded in our society and has, who has a real career, the CIA targets them. Those are the people they want, because people in high places or successful people, they have contacts that are very valuable. They have access to very important information that the CIA can't get any other way. The CIA needs its contacts, and so it approaches everybody who, I don't know about everybody, but a lot of people who have succeeded in their careers in all levels of society. They don't necessarily need to be of a certain profession. They can be, somebody who works at a gas station even, they have reasons for approaching each person. Perhaps they're related to somebody. They deal with lineages. I mean, it's very complex. They have a whole thing going on, and I know nobody knows about it. If they did, they wouldn't get away with all that they get away with and get all the information that they do. All right, I want to know, what the hell did you say to be labeled as delusional while you were admitted? I just talked about what I'm talking about with you guys. I mean, I talk about a lot of stuff, but back then I was talking about marrying Michael Jackson when I was 18. You go to jail and you talk to your public defender lawyer and you tell them I married Michael Jackson when I was 18, and it's more than likely that your public defender lawyer is going to think you're crazy. And, because the likelihood of their client having married Michael Jackson when they were 18, and, somebody who, I was homeless at the time, living outside, it's pretty unlikely in his mind, probably, and so he's going to call a, I don't know who they call, I guess, I don't know, there's mental health professionals in the court system who do these evaluations, and, he's going to call them up and have his client evaluated. And me, I'm not going to, I don't like to hold back. I like to be honest. That's my personality. That's who I am. And, I'm not going to hold back when I talk to her. I'm not going to try and fake it and say, I didn't want to lie. I didn't want to, pretend that, I don't know, she probably heard from my lawyer that I had said what I did. It was in my court papers, they talked about, some things that, it involved a bank, and I was claiming that I was the president of this bank and that I had founded it with my money. And, these things are just considered very unlikely in the minds of most people. So they labeled me delusional. Of course they were going to. That's the way people operate in our society. That's the way they control people like me. In the CIA, either you're delusional, which is crazy, or you're lying. You're a liar. You're a criminal. Whatever. They label you one or the other. If they want to shut you down, if they want to control you, you have to choose. And when I was a child, I was told that I had to choose which label were they going to use on me. And I chose, I didn't want to choose it, but I didn't, but the worst thing in the world that I can be labeled is a liar, because I am an upholder of truth. I really, I would, you know, when you're a truthful person, when you're a good person, the last thing you want to be labeled is a liar. So what's left? Delusional, insane, crazy. And I didn't want to choose it, but I had no choice. I had two choices only, and that was the other one. And that's why they used that as a label for me, so no one will believe me, because I'm speaking classified information. This is classified, okay? I'm declassifying it. I mean, I wish I was a lawyer who could complete the process, and I tell you, lawyers out there, everybody out there who's trying to declassify, I want this declassified as soon as possible. Please do it. Take care of it. This is information the world needs to know. I mean, this is the reason why I was classified in the first place, is because the CIA wanted to steal my money, and the CIA wanted to cover up that they had made me into a sex slave, which is against the law when we're talking about American law. So they had to classify me so that they could take me out of American law and hide their crimes. Dean, my husband's waving hello. Do you want to come here and wave hello? This is Grandpa Dean. I don't know if they can see your face. Okay. All right. So if you could let me just do this by myself, sweetheart.
I'm just telling
you
to get this board.
All right, sweetheart. Careful. I'll have to move that. Sorry about that. So anyway, I just want everything. Can you close the door, please? Thank you. So I just want everything declassified. And I don't remember what I was saying, so to continue what I was saying, but I just want everything declassified as soon as possible. And the reason why I was classified, that's what I was saying. I'm the victim of a horrible crime by the CIA, and that's why I'm classified. It's not because I'm some threat to national security. It's because the CIA committed horrible crimes. They have stolen my money, and they want to continue to keep my money, and and to do so, they have to keep me a secret and play all these legal games with me. And I'm trying to expose them, and it is my mission to expose them. And I really do believe that I will mean the end of the CIA as we know it. Okay, Claire, make sure you select post at the end of this video so others can go back and watch this session if they have missed most of it. And don't delete it. I want everyone to see it. I have nothing to hide, Felicia. I don't. I'm not embarrassed about what I've been through. I mean, yes, I've been labeled. Some of the best people have in our society. You know, when they want to control you, they label you. Okay, Susan Beauharnois. Is that how you say your name? I have to figure out how to say your name. Actually, maybe it's Beauharnois, right? Because it's French, right? That's the trouble I had with Boitel. You know, everybody pronounces it Boitel or Boitel. That's my ex-husband called himself, his last name Boitel. It's Boitel. So Beauharnois. Yes, you're saying yes. Okay. Vega is an interesting. Do you mean plan, or Vega is an interesting place? If that's kind of what you mean. You know, Vega law is, you know, CIA law came from Vega law. Vega law is very intricate, very complex, and, you know, that's where the whole idea that different names and different spellings of the same name have different legal entities in a court of law. That's Vega law. You know, in order for a person to get a divorce in Vega, they have to make sure they divorce each and every one of their names that they've ever been known by, and it's very complex. But in Vega, they make it really easy for the person getting a divorce. They just take care of it for them. They don't make that person represent themselves in a court of law and figure out all the different spellings and all the different variations and nicknames and aliases that they have. They don't do what the CIA has done to me. The CIA took Vega law and distorted it for their own purposes, I should say. And, this whole thing about, in Vega you can marry more than one person, and it's a contract, basically. And the CIA took that and yes, made it a contract first and foremost, as well, but they used it to commit crimes. They used the law to commit crimes. It's like, okay, you can be married to more than one person, so you can marry more than one woman, secretly, of course, always secretly, because you don't want to get in trouble with American law, right? So they have to do it secretly. I mean, American law knows about CIA law, and because CIA law trumps American law, there's nothing American law can do. But, in society, you can't really advertise that you're married to a zillion people. So, these guys, they marry women on paper, and they steal their money. All the money. Well, in Vega, there's no money. But Vega, creates money for the women in its lineages. The women are, women are the leaders in Vega. Vega is run by women. It's not run by men. It's the opposite of Earth. On Earth, there's a male domination still in existence. In Vega, it's a female domination. And as the result, they have world peace. When women are in control, they act like, they're mothers of society. And that's when society is healthy and balanced. And that's why I'm a woman and not a man, because women, I know that in the old days, men used to think that women were not balanced somehow, but testosterone tends to distort reality in a man's mind. Men are just so obsessed with outdoing the other guy. There's, and that's why we have war. Women don't have that. Yes, I know women get competitive. Yes, we have testosterone in our bodies, but it's in a lesser amount, so we can think clearly. I know we get our period, and we're a little more emotional, but it's good that we're a little more emotional. We care. That's good. That's not bad. That's good. That's what we want in our leaders. We want our leaders to care, and women are more in touch with those emotions that our world needs. So anyway, CIA law took Vega law and distorted it for their own fraudulent criminal purposes. And Vega law is good, but CIA law is really bad. I choose American law any day over CIA law. Okay, do the people look like us in Vega? Yeah. I don't know. I've been in Vega a lot, and everybody looks just like us. I mean, I didn't know the difference. I was a kid a lot of the times that I went there, and I didn't. Sometimes I didn't know I was in Vega. It's the same as here. I mean, they just have a lot of technology we don't. Everything's really cool there, and it is different. It's much better. And people up there don't want to come down here usually. I mean, unless they're trying to be some kind of saint or something. It's really difficult for people up there to come down here. They have to kind of grow up down here also. Otherwise it doesn't work out. Vegas, CIA, but to get a divorce, you have to go to a civilian court. Oh, thank you for repeating that so many times. I definitely saw your comments. Katina. Yeah, you do have to go to a civilian court because, you know, there aren't any courts that say CIA on them, right? There's not any CIA courts, right? I mean, publicly they're not. The CIA courts operate within our civilian courts, right? I mean, civilian, you mean like all courts, right? I mean, you're talking like Superior Court, Criminal Court, you know, the courthouses we have in our society. That's where CIA law is also. Yeah, they use the same courtrooms. They just close the courtroom. They close it, and then it's CIA session. I guess that's how they do it. They just make sure that there are no civilians in the room, and then they do what they do. I don't know what the hell they do in those rooms. You know, it's the CIA. You know, there's a lot of sex going on, and who knows what they do with those judges, and who knows. I really missed a lot. Have you been to Vega recently? No. The last time I was in Vega was in 2002 when I married Prince. I think that was the last time I went. Jennifer, and that was Mandy, by the way, that asked that. She's the loan officer. What will you do? Jennifer asks, what will you do if, I missed it. Ask me again, Jennifer. Felicia, up there, so Vega is farther away from Earth. Yes, it's in the sun, inside the sun. That's where they are, and they breathe water, not air. I know that sounds really crazy, but it feels like air. I don't know. It's a special water, but it actually is water. And you know, our lungs. Scientists have proven that our lungs can inhale water just as much as air. I mean, we die on Earth when we do that, but you know, our lungs can handle water just as much as they can handle air. But yeah, they're inside the sun. That's where Vega is. Do you believe in God, Jesus? Yeah, I do, and they do. You know, everybody has different beliefs in Vega too, but you know, in Vega it's pretty clear. You know, there's a leader there, and that leader is God. And you know, but different people have different ways of looking at God, and so all religions are there, and you know, and it's really true that all religions are just a different perspective. You know, it's just a different way of looking at the truth. That all religions point to the truth in some way or another. Some are more direct. I believe Nichiren Buddhism, chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, is the most direct path. God chants Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. God is Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, I should say. And you know, if you want to practice the way God does, you're going to chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. That's what I'm going to say. Nichiren Buddhism is the most, is the clearest, most direct philosophy of God. I think it's a star. Yeah, Vega is a star. We call the thing we call Vega in the solar, I mean not solar system, in wherever out in space. Yeah, there is a star called Vega, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about inside the sun. You know, they did name a star after Vega, but that's not the Vega I'm talking about. Mandy, the loan officer, how can you get there? Can anyone go? No, not just anyone can go. You have to either be born there or you have to die. It's as simple as that. It's, you know, it's heaven. And I know we think of heaven as the spiritual realm in the clouds, but it's not like that. It's an actual location, a physical location, just like we're here. It's the same. I mean, there were times when I didn't even know I was in Vega, okay? I thought I was still on Earth. It's the same as here. I mean, with a lot of extra fun stuff, and it's a much better place, but yeah, it's physical, like we are physical. It's not some spirit realm. It's inside the sun, yes, Mandy. And that's a really good place, don't you think? Because nobody can get, we don't have the technology yet to get close enough to the sun to see what's actually going on in there. It's, you know, it's a well, I can't really say it's man-made because, you know, and you know, everything here was made by Vega, you know, by God, right? God created, and the sun is the same way. And but yeah, unless we have the technology, we can't get close enough to the sun to actually see how there are portals that go, you know, like there are different aircrafts or rockets, I don't know what they're called, shuttles, space shuttles that go into the sun. You know, there are portals at different areas of the sun where this aircraft goes into, and ports. You know, there are other ways of getting there. You don't have to go in a physical aircraft, or shuttle or whatever it is that I've been in one of those shuttles, by the way, a number of times. You can, they have special chairs. You know, if you've ever seen those, you know, George Michael, actually, in one of his videos, Fast Love, he sits in a chair that's shaped, I forget what they're called. We used to have chairs shaped like that back in the 60s when I was growing up. It's got like, I don't know, it's like a curvy chair, you know, that looks like it's futuristic. It used to look futuristic back in the 60s and 70s, you know. It's something that looks more like the 60s and 70s to us today. But anyway, they have these, I don't know what they're called. They sit in these chairs and they beam up to Vega. And I know that when I was with Daddy, we used to just be walking down the street and, you know, we'd just go different places, and I think sometimes we would just be in Vega all of a sudden. That's usually how I ended up there. I didn't know I was going there, and I just ended up there, and, you know, there's all kinds of ways of going there. Can the people of Vega come here if they please? Yes, they can. Mm-hmm. That's Twyla. Jennifer asks, what will you do if you're not named an heir? Well, it's not an heir. The heir is the correct term. You know, I do think about that sometimes. I worry about it a little bit, I guess. I mean, I say that I'm so confident, and I am, but there's a part of me, you know, I'm human, and there's a part of me that thinks, gosh, you know, it just, you know, sometimes it's so discouraging because nobody knows about me. Everybody thinks I'm some idiot, you know? And, you know, it gets to you after a while. It does. I mean, I'm human, and I'm sure they want it to get to me. But I mean, in my heart, in my bones, and, you know, with my whole being, I know that I trust this judge, and I know he's going to do the right thing. I just know it, and I'm just waiting for the time when he can publicly release the information that I am the heir, and it's going to happen. It has to happen pretty soon now. You know, it has to, and I'm just waiting. You know, my husband gets really, really frustrated with the waiting, and, you know, much more so than me. I have a little, you know, in the back of my mind, I worry about it, but my husband, he gets so mad, you know, and he takes it out on me, you know. He kind of, you know, he gets really mad that I got myself in this situation, and, you know, not being in the case, but just, you know, that I didn't send people to jail in my past, and, you know, expose the truth so much sooner than now, and that I ever lost my money in the first place and never married the person I did, that's, you know, that I'm trying to divorce now after 4 tries. You know, he gets really mad at me over all this stuff, and so it's difficult for me, and it will be such a relief to be named the sole heir. Can the people of Vega come here as they please? Okay, I already answered that, Twyla. I guess nobody's been moving the comments. So what will you do if you're not named in error? That's what you asked, Jennifer, and I guess I answered that. Why does the civilian court still have your marriage license with Prince? There is only one reason a civilian court should hold on to your license. Well, the law firm that handled Prince's second divorce, I think it's Henson and Ephron, or Ephron and Henson. I think it's Henson and Ephron. I suspect they had that document as well as the will, and I believe they submitted it to the court very soon after Prince died. And the court has always had those two documents, but because they're top secret, the judge cannot publicly reveal that he has these two documents. He has to continue to deny that there's any existence of a will, and so does the special administrator. And it's really difficult. I mean, if I was a person out in society looking in on this case, I would believe what they said too. I mean, it's only because I know what I know that I can read between the lines and see, the indications that they will name me the sole heir. I know that nobody else can see that. It's only me that can see that because I know what I know, and it's difficult. It's very difficult. Okay, how do you go? Twyla wants to know. Go to Vega. Like I said, I've been, when I was a child, they showed me all the different ways you could go. And I've been on those shuttles. I've just appeared there. I've died many times. I'm serious when I tell you that. I'm not kidding. And I don't even know I'm dead, and they have to tell me I'm dead. I've gone to sleep, and I'm there, and I'm supposed to be sleeping. All different kinds of ways I've been there. I've just been walking down the street, and then suddenly I'm in Vega because I'm with Daddy, when I was a young child. Those are the ways that I've gone. Why does the civilian court, this is Katina, why does the civilian court still have your marriage? Okay, I guess I already answered that. Jennifer says, my heart breaks for you. You look like you want to cry. Oh, do I? Wow. Yeah, I guess it is kind of sad, isn't it? Yeah, I guess there is sadness on my face, and now I'm going to cry. Oh. Yeah, it is sad. I try not to think about how sad it is. Okay. No, you mean to tell me they took your copies, Katina? I never had a copy of the will or our marriage certificate. Only Prince had a copy of it, and our lawyer, and that's why the court has it and I don't. Vandy, I apologize if you have explained this, but if you are proven to be Prince's wife and legal heir in court, is there a chance that American law will go after you for polygamy? No, that's a good question, Mandy. Look, I am, first of all, CIA law trumps American law. And it's not me who chose to marry all these people. It was the CIA who married me to all these people so that they could get their hands on my money. I was the victim of the CIA. It was my intention to marry only one person. When I was married to Michael Jackson on my 18th birthday, they told me to forget all about it. They told me it didn't count. They told me I could go ahead and marry anyone I wanted, that it was just for business purposes. And I'm like, really? You can get married just for business purposes and then go marry somebody else? You know, I didn't know. I was 18 years old, and I had never heard of that before because I was like everybody else in our society. You know, I thought you only get married to one person at a time. But that's what they told me, and, you know, I guess I was a little freaked out when I realized I had just married Michael Jackson, and I just blocked it out, okay? And when I then met Mickey, I call him Mickey. His name is Seraphin Boitel. Okay, he pronounces it Boitel. It's spelled B-O-I-T-E-L. You know, I didn't remember having married Michael when I was 18. I had blocked it out, and because I was told to. And you know, they've controlled me my whole life. They can tell me, you know, they know how to get me to block things out. They've trained me to block things out. You know, I block things out better than anybody because that's the way I was, you know, mind controlled my whole life. You know, I was a CIA sex slave. They had to, you know, use mind control on me. It doesn't work on me, but, you know, they wanted me to forget about things forever, but the thing about me is that, you know, I might forget about it temporarily, but I'm going to remember in the long run, and, you know, they didn't count on that, okay? Usually their mind control techniques work forever, you know, on other people, but not on me, you know. It might take me 20 years or 30 years, but I will remember. But anyway, when I married Mickey, yes, at the time, we got married on July 3rd, 1985. And at the time, we were living in Hawaii. We had just moved there. And all over the tabloids was me and Michael Jackson getting married. There was, I don't know, if you look, I mean, of course, the CIA has it all covered up. I don't know. You know, it's amazing what they do. They just wipe everything clean. So I don't know if you can find it, but there are, you know, all the tabloids from that time in 1985 had Michael Jackson marrying some woman whose face was blotted out. It was blurred. And I took one look, and I was like, oh, shit, you know. And it was Mickey who pointed them out to me. He's like, somebody told me that was you. Is that you, Claire? It looks like you. And I was like, no, it's not me. And it triggered my memory, and I remembered, whoa, yeah, I did get married to Michael Jackson. Oh, my God. But I just was like, Mickey, no, that's not me. That's not true. And we went and we got married anyway. I didn't want to believe that was true. I was told that it wasn't true. You know, I was told to forget about it. And when he reminded me of it and I saw myself, I did remember briefly, but I immediately put it back in my locked memory banks and forgot about it again. So, you know, my intention was to marry one person, and that was Mickey, or Seraphin Boitel, as his name is today. And then and I married him in American law. Let me just be really clear about that. I was a girl. We were living in Waikiki. I was a cocktail waitress, and he was a bar back over. I was working at Moose McGillicuddy's in Waikiki, and he was working at Masquerade as a bar back. And we got on the bus. We went to Honolulu. We went to the courthouse. We walked in there. We went to the judge's chambers. We got they had the secretary be our witness. It was a simple ceremony. It was done. We got back on the bus. We went back into Waikiki, and I went to work at Moose McGillicuddy's as a cocktail waitress that night. Okay? That's the way it was done. It was not done in the CIA. You know, there was no secret marriage certificate. No, nothing was secret. My marriage certificate is filed in Hawaii. I just recently, in 2016, finally got a copy of it. That's a long story. Hello, are you there? My computer just went out. you there? Can you see me? Are you drinking beer, Twyla? Okay, I hope this didn't cut me off. My computer just like totally went out on me, but are you still there? Am I still on? Let me see. Yeah, okay, I guess so. Okay. Well, anyway, okay, so I didn't get married in the CIA. I mean, you can look up my marriage records anywhere. It's in public records. It's not in CIA records. It's in public domain. And, but anyway, so when I got divorced, when people get divorced, they don't always use their legal name or their married name correctly. I've seen so many people get divorced using the totally wrong name, and they're divorced in American law. American law is not as specific. It's not as complex. It's pretty simple. You have the intention of getting divorced. You are the same person who walked down the aisle, so you file paperwork, okay, maybe something's misspelled, I've seen it time and time again, but, you get a divorce, and you're divorced. But that didn't work with me. I mean, even though I got married, I went down to the courthouse and got married and went to work right afterwards. No, I couldn't get divorced like everybody else in our society. I got married like everybody else in society, but no, I can't get divorced like everybody else in society. Because the CIA has my money, they're making me submit to their level of law, their corrupt level of law. They're making me use the exact same name that I changed my name when I got married to Claire Elisabeth Boitel, and because I didn't use my legal married name when I divorced Nikki, or Seraphim Boitel, which he is known as today, I am not divorced, right? And so when I realized this, I got re-divorced in 2008. Well, the first divorce was in 1991, and it was Claire Elisabeth Elliott versus Osvaldo Seraphim Boitel, which I thought was his legal name at the time. It wasn't, okay? Well, it was, but this is what I'm talking about, okay? This is CIA bullshit. And because of CIA bullshit, I'm still fucking Facebook. I'm still married to someone I haven't spoken to since 2007, and who I have not been married to, living with, together, and married to since 1988. That was when we got separate. We officially. Oh wait. We officially separated on 9/11/1988, and we got back together later. And for like 6 months in 1990. And the last time we were together, married. I mean, we were separated, but we'll just, I didn't get on a plane until like October 29th, 1990, to go back to Los Angeles. And that's the date of our official separation. I mean, we were separated before then, living together, not married anymore, before then. But, I count October 29th, as the day we officially separated. And 1990. Okay, how many years ago is that? 10, 20, is it 27 years? Okay, 2000 to 2010, 27 years ago. And the CIA still considers me married to this person. American law doesn't. CIA law does. Even though I got married in American law. Not CIA law, American law. All right. Yeah, 27 years, Jennifer. I know you and Mickey were not raised together, but it later found out you were related. What would that make the marriage void? Yeah. American law would say, no, void. Mickey is my triplet brother. Now, okay, I was told, when I got to New York City, I was told that I had a triplet brother. I mean, I had been told when I was a young child, too, but I blocked it all out. But when I got to New York, I left home at 18, and I got to New York, and I was told at that time, just before I went to Lee Strasberg Theater Institute, that I was going to meet my triplet brother, and that I was going to marry him. And I was going to go out with him and marry him, or something like that. And I'm like, what? And then I just, and I was told his name. His name is Oswaldo Bratel. And I was like, okay. And then I get to Lee Strasberg, and I didn't forget. I totally forgot about that. Totally forgot. I wiped it out from my mind. Didn't remember. And then I was introduced to Oswaldo Bratel, and I was like, that name sounds really familiar. You know, I didn't remember he was my triplet brother. But it's funny, when I first met him and I was getting together with him, you know, kind of, I don't know, we weren't really dating yet. We were just, like, meeting. We had a kissing scene together. Of course, you know, of course the teacher assigned us a kissing scene. Of course, right? They wanted us to get together, so, you know, it was arranged. And our teacher was Hope Arthur, the ex-wife of Arthur Fromer, by the way. And so Hope, and Hope did not want to be blamed if, you know, we ever got a divorce, and we do not blame Hope. But anyway, where was I going with this? I forget. Well, anyway, okay, so Oswaldo Bratel, the name Oswaldo Bratel seemed really familiar. But anyway, as we were getting together and making arrangements to practice our kissing scene, you know, I kept putting him off and didn't want to do it, you know. And we finally got together and we're eating lunch together, and I told him something about my sister. I don't know. I never lied. You know, I didn't like to lie, but I made up some excuse and told him that my sister, whatever, had made me late or something like that. I don't know why I made up such a lie. I never lie. You know, it was just so unusual for me to say such a lie. And he's like, oh, you have a sister? And I'm like, yeah. And I didn't know why I was lying to him like this. It was like subconscious. You know, I work very subconsciously, okay? I'm very intuitive. And he's like, oh. And I figured I could get away with lying to him because he wasn't going to be in my life, is what I had decided at that point. I mean, little did I know I would end up marrying the guy. So, of course, you know, at some point he realized I had lied about having a sister. But you know what? I wasn't really lying. We were born triplets, and we have a sister. So it was my subconscious mind, you know, taking control there like it likes to. And, like, talking about a sister. We were triplets. I have an identical twin sister named Chris Megan Fields, who is our triplet. And yeah, I mean, they arranged for me to marry my triplet. I mean, I don't even know if he's my full-blooded brother or not. I mean, he doesn't look like he is. I mean, he's got really curly hair and very dark olive complexion, you know, complected skin, and you know, full lips, and really skinny guy, and he looks. He used to look like Prince. That's why I kind of fell for him like I did. I was, you know, we were going out at the time of Purple Rain, and he was like my Prince. And but he actually looks. He cuts his hair short now, and he looks more like an Adam Sandler, a cute Adam Sandler. No offense to Adam Sandler. I don't know. He's just kind of like a Dominican Adam Sandler. Let's just say that. And from the Dominican Republic. He was shipped off to the Dominican Republic after he was born. He was the smallest triplet. He almost died. He was really small. They didn't think he would survive, and they shipped him over to the near the equator, to the Caribbean, where the food the food was more nutritious, so that it would give him a chance, and he survived. They gave him to a 16-year-old poor girl named Gladys, and she had to raise him, and pretend that she gave birth to him, and he didn't know for the longest time that, she never told him that she didn't give birth to him, and I had to tell him, eventually when I finally remembered everything. And, now he knows that we're triplets, not husband and wife, and I don't know. He really wanted to stay married, but, and he's not cooperating with the divorce, but, it was really for the money that, he wanted to stay married to me, not because he loved me. He really showed me in very many ways that he did not really love me at all. All right, okay. All right, 27 years. Mandy McManus, loan officer, says, did you use hypnosis or some other means to recover the memories, or did they just come back? Well, my daddy, as I call him, and by the way, his name is Bert Fields, even though he's really Jose Tota. Jose Tota is his true identity, but he was in a different, I know it sounds really weird, he was in a different body, and he was in the body of Bert Fields, who is one of my many genetic fathers. In fact, he's my genetic father many times over. And that's who Daddy, Jose Tota, wanted to be, and he has since taken on that new identity in Vega. And he asked me if that would be all right with me, because he wanted to be my father. He didn't want to be Jose Tota anymore, even though he really is Jose Tota. He wanted to be my father because he wanted me to, everybody to focus on me, not him. You can understand. But anyway, yes, hypnosis is a lot of the way that Daddy helped me when I was a little baby. And, hypnosis was, there were bad people performing hypnosis on me to control me in a bad way. But Daddy, helped me with hypnosis. And so I think that I know that I hypnotize myself, and I do it subconsciously. I do it automatically. I do it intuitively because it was ingrained in me at such a young age, and I don't know any other way of being. It's just what I do, and I don't even know I'm doing it. There are lots of different techniques from all different kinds of. He was a psychologist, a psychiatrist. He had all. He invented Scientology, so he had all kinds of techniques to help me, and it's because of all those tools and techniques that he used on me and taught me to use that I'm here today speaking to you. Well, I guess the comments are slowing down a little bit. How long has it been? Oh my goodness! Oh my gosh! It's an hour and a half! Wow. I really thought an hour would be a long shot. I really appreciate you guys, watching, and I guess it's time to conclude. I can't believe it's already 10:30. Oh my gosh. Thank you. And I don't know, maybe we'll do this again sometime. And thank you. I really appreciate talking with all of you. And I really love telling my story. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to do that. Have a great night, all of you. Bye-bye. Cheers. luck to you too, Jennifer. Oh, Mandy, thank you for giving me the opportunity to do this. And I will do it again if you guys want me to. Cheers.